influence anybody. Just inform.
Boy, that's pretty good. How are you, Mr. Henson?
Well, how are you?
Yeah. I was kind of enjoying not having 90-degree days. But that shall soon disappear.
Hopefully. This humidity is,
The trees are showing up as color, so it's inevitable.
they're saying the winter is gonna be very long, very cold. And
I've heard that same ill report.
I've heard that every time for the last 10 years, it seems like.
It seems that way. Although I think I'm gonna hedge against it. I'm trading in my snow blower for another one.
A bigger one?
No, I've got one that's, I think it's an old John Deere beast, and it is
Beast.
way too heavy.
so
So
let me guess, your new one's gonna be solar powered.
it's a wonderful idea for somebody else.
And better.
I go on.
Those guys are showing cold.
Yeah, we've had a couple of guys.
Is he gonna be here today?
Yeah, he's upstairs. He just
Well,
doesn't sound
I
very
think
good.
that makes any sense.
not well.
Have we had you guys this morning? Colin?
They claim COVID's on for the suite.
Yeah,
Looks like
you know how that.
Sure.
You're first.
I'm first, and I was the only one, so I was told. This one, I think, might take a while.
No, maybe not.
Oh, you're right.
I agree.
Ben,
Morning.
we don't.
Was that?
Where's-
Yeah, I thought-
I'm just gonna sit over here.
Oh, I'm sorry you came in then. I got the machine running.
Yeah, you should sit right there.
Sure, we'll go.
Good old congested stuff, Ben, or what?
Yes.
Lucky you. I just got done with it.
Not
Takes
fun.
about 5-6 days, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Big enough.
Oh, it's finally.
Well, it's 9:30. All those in so choose, stand for pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order with everyone present. As a reminder, the meeting is being recorded. If you choose not to be recorded, you have the option. First item on the agenda this morning is Mike Kueny, our county engineer, with the road project updates. Go ahead, Mike.
More cleaning up the maintenance that we've been doing all summer. Just go through the bullet list here. We're finalists for the build grant. There's nothing new this week to report on. Railroad flat car bridge study coordination. ISU came out last week and started working, and they couldn't get their computer equipment to work with the strain gauges and the deflection gauges. So it looks like they'll be back Monday of next week. That was a loose day, so I'll contact them again this week to verify. Subdivision data, nothing new this week. Quarry Hill Road, nothing new this week. I did have a conversation with Keith Bruning and with Mark Holte of the city. Everybody's wanting to push it forward, so it's looking promising that that'll get done here sooner rather than later. Misty Valley, construction is finished. Seating for the campground, should be done. It was supposed to have been done middle of last week. Culvert work on A14 east of Hesper began last week, and then after one of the culverts was put in, the county constructed the concrete patches over the pipe. We did that ourselves, whereas in the recent past, it had been done by contractors or typically Wicks is who we had gotten oftentimes. Out of seal over B32 to begin on September 22nd. This morning, a decision was made that W20 patches to cover the pipe. We think we can get it in this week. Evidently, superintendent is working on getting it done, starting it today. So Durapatcher is operating on A14. If we can get to W40 yet this year, we will be targeting that. Bridge 307 is shaping up to be let in December of 2025. NEPA clearance has been completed. Nothing really new this week. Bridge 208E, the floor was poured last week. The curtain wall at the outlet and the outlet floor will be poured tomorrow. And the vertical wall, looking at the interior vertical walls will be hopefully poured by the end of the week. That would be pushing it a little bit, so maybe that happens next week. Bridge 126 NEPA clearances have been completed and will likely be let in December. I have to get an exception written today and sent in. Frankville Road letting will follow Bridge 126. Sign grant for Winneshiek County grant signs has been completed. We're still waiting on reimbursement as far as I know. The annual report has been submitted to the DOT, and as far as I know, we were just awaiting final approval on that. And then you'll let it all the way out, and we'll get feedback on September 26th. That is the report.
We're taking applications for a new.
We are taking applications for a new blade operator. For stay cautiously optimistic. We'll see who has some blade experience. This superintendent wants prior experience on that. And hopefully we get as good candidates as we got on our last round of interviews. So.
Yeah.
Which we don't get someone with an experience, what?
It's happened before.
Yeah.
I can tell you that it's happened before. I don't know what it is that we've done about it. So.
Yeah.
There's nobody within that wants to trade.
No, and oftentimes what happens would be like the sign guy or bridge crew wants to go, and we have a good core on the bridge crew, and our sign guy likes his job, and that's all positive in my mind. So. Yeah.
At the meeting, some counties were talking about cutting down, like a way of saving money. Blade, pushing things out mileage wise. Is that?
I'm very sympathetic to that. When I'd done the initial assessment on that, we are about middle of the road when it comes to miles per blade. But we have hills and a little bit more difficult terrain, and I just don't feel confident in a kind of a decision. And
we have done that in the last 10 or 15 years, because
we used to have 15 at one point.
yeah, and when I started as auditor, we had 14.
Okay.
Now we're down to 12.
12, yes. So the pinch point isn't summer maintenance. It's blading everything off in inclement weather. We've been able not need them necessarily these last couple winters, but I haven't been here when it's been a bad winter. So I don't have any sense that I really want to do that, even though is in the back of my mind constantly to make that decision.
Because there are a lot of them small gravel roads that have banks on both sides. And when the wind starts blowing, they just drift in every day.
Yeah, it's one of those, that would be a decision that would be vetted through superintendent and the foreman for sure before I even go to recommending anything like that. That would be a big decision. So,
Because compared to like 30 years ago, the technology is better.
yes,
It's better hand to handle.
the horsepower on those motor graders, everything about it is better. But again, it's
You can only go so fast with one,
Lighting
otherwise
speed.
you
Oh, yeah.
can, yeah.
it's a speed issue, and then it's a how much snow do you get? I mean, it doesn't matter how much horsepower you have, you're not pushing, at some point, you're not pushing any more snow.
And
So,
the topography. You were saying earlier, we're not just a straight grid of straight roads.
no, we're not straight, and you'll look at other counties and they have plenty of, forward slope to back slope, and that's not us. It's just not, so.
How are we doing on the total number of hours and certain blades that are reaching their lifetime expectancy when we prefer to keep them?
We'd like to keep the hours around 15,000 based on discussion, with maintenance foreman. We need more blades, so it'll probably be, I have to revisit the budget. There's lots of wants, and we're looking at another thing that we're looking at is a new semi, because the current one is also it's tired and constantly being repaired, and we're using that more now. So yeah, it just lots of things that we want to spend money on, but we got a budget, so that's the short answer to that. But the blade, we're going to be looking at getting one blade per year for the foreseeable future, right? And say that's the target.
How is that one that we refurbished going?
The specific one, I haven't heard any complaints on it, or so.
That's a good sign.
That is a good sign. I can't remember. Unfortunately, my mind doesn't work with equipment like it does topography, and we are having some issues, and I can't remember which one it is. So don't want to say that completely that it's okay, but
I guess I could talk to Lenny and I would get the answers.
feel free to talk to Lenny anytime. So.
Anyone have anything else for Mike?
No, that's it. Sounds good. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Consent agenda, Ben?
It's got the minutes. And might be it, I'm gonna double check.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes. Just the minutes.
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Any committee reports?
We've got safety committee today at 1, Ben, still.
Under 101.30.
I'm hoping maybe you or Steve can organize that, so I don't. Otherwise I might not be here.
We can do it.
Wasn't.
No,
This
that's
meeting.
fine. That's fine.
Oh, this can-
Safety committee is today at 1. Winneshiek County Development is due Thursday. And Northeast Iowa Community Action next Monday night.
Historic Commission has a seminar at the German Museum in St. Lucas, in connection, partner together with us on the Indian tribes and visit and so forth. Starts at 9:30 at St. Lucas and goes till 3 o'clock.
What
It is
On
on Wednesday. It is they put it on, it'll be pulling people from far reaching within the state. And they have one tribal speaker
From the whole chunk.
from the Ho-Chunks. So it'll be a very interesting meeting, and some site visits on some of the previous sites. And at the end of it, there's a tour of the museum at Fort
Where is it? You said St. Louis.
St. Louis at the German Museum.
German Museum, thank you.
I had EMS this week and Clemens was there, Mike, and he gave us an update that September 29th would be kind of a big day for consolidation issues, maybe see what happens down at the state, if or not. And they said that's just a wait and see on that.
September
That was kind of our main
29th is kind of
Yeah.
is their get together in the state at the state level.
states. Final consolidation, 911, EMS, et cetera, on down the line.
And it may have impacts. What they do may impact us in a lot of different areas. It's not
Yeah.
above and beyond just EMS and 911.
911, yeah.
Ag Conservation Board, a couple things, purchase new life jackets. They used to have just them horseshoe ones, and ones with vest style. There's dredging going on out at Walden Pond. But the amounts outside wasn't probably gonna take care of dredging everything. So we allocated up to another $10,000 to do it. While it's empty, because if you don't do it now, you're never gonna get it done.
Yeah.
And then there's some debris between the Trout Stream Hatchery and Highway 9 that conservation has to clean out of there.
After the storm.
Yeah. I'll get on that.
The Public Health Wednesday, that was this regular meeting. They're still working on a committee to check into collaborating with the hospital or whatever.
Are any of the board members being involved, or did they just appoint us a committee of
Just
the
the-
staff?
Really haven't seen the name. I mean, yeah, nothing's really been done yet.
I think Krista's been in charge of it.
Yep.
Was my take from the previous meeting that I said.
And nothing's been done. So that's
Doesn't give
where I
us,
come with it.
doesn't give us a non-biased.
And they wanted to know if she keep on. I said, yeah, we should. That's what we're informed from the board of supervisors to do, was go ahead with it, and just nothing's been done yet, so.
I mean, nothing at all's been done yet, or you
They
haven't
haven't
had a
talked,
report about
they
it?
did nothing yet,
No
we've got
meetings or
nothing.
anything yet?
no.
Krista, I know, had at least 3 people lined up for it.
There's really
I
no
think she was having a
committee.
hard time filling the last 2 spots. That was my take on it.
Update on, we're the recipient of the Trees for Kids grant from the DNR. And so that planting will take place on the 10th of October. Kind of throughout the day, they're working with the 5th grade classes here locally, and they'll get a seminar on tree planting, maintenance, health, and be able to help plant the trees here. There's 16 going in. The last final plan, they aren't doing any on the boulevard. This is kind of where we talked about up around here. So that'll be exciting.
This,
16.
I think it's 16 total, yeah. So, and that's no cost to the county. And John Kraus from Conservation has been coordinating. that.
We're not gonna put any in the boulevard though, are
No.
we? No.
We are gonna add trees on this exposure on this side
It
of.
sounded like there were gonna be some here too, and I don't know, we talked about, Drew had recommended removing that damaged one out there, and maybe these 2 at the same time, but I don't know where he's at with John on that.
You know, and don't forget, we're wanting one out here for that new area where we.
So he took the ones that were on the boulevard and put up here.
When did you say that was gonna happen?
I believe it's the Friday, the 10th of October. And it's, the classes throughout the day will come up and help with the plan. So it's pretty exciting. The city did a similar thing on River Street, past the middle school down there. School kids came and helped plant those trees. And they look great. And it was fun working with the students. I think they learned a lot about how to plant a tree properly and going forward.
And there's a lot of misconceptions of the right way.
You just don't stick it to the ground.
No.
Just happened to look up at the road. Have we heard any more about the condition of the shingles and the warranty potential or?
Nothing yet. I'll go back and visit John on it when we're done.
Another
And
year?
I haven't heard yet I don't know that he's yet got the video footage of the drone that went around in the top section.
Say on that. Yeah. I mean, there is a potential it was struck by lightning, but who knows? It could have just been perfect direction of the wind and rain, so. But we do need to do something up there.
But that falls back on the top metal dome and, talk about an expense that would be.
Yeah,
Oh, boy,
$1 million.
I think they'd estimated a little over $1 million.
I know.
Yep,
I know.
That was
that was a couple years ago.
That was 2 years ago.
You would think for that price, you could get one like the state capitol, but I don't think so.
Patched up and put gold leaf on it.
Remind me, are we working with anybody to look at their grants available for courthouse domes in Iowa?
No, not that I'm aware of. I've asked
Or
previously.
wealthy donors,
What's that?
or wealthy donors.
As a real affinity for our courthouse, that would be nice.
Is there anything left in the state, is it? Too many, I don't think. Domes like that.
Not very many.
The reason I asked about grants is ISAC had somebody at one of the vendors years ago that was showing the domed courthouses in Iowa. It was a program or project. So I'll look more into it.
Maybe Ben knows.
Well, there's the state HRDP grant or whatever it is. I supposed to write letters. It's a historic preservation grant. It's like $50,000. So that one we could apply for again, but it won't go a
It'll be a
long
draw.
ways.
Oh,
So it's no go. When we
Not
did
No.
some restoration on the other tower, we got a federal grant that paid 125 or something towards that.
That'll just put the
That's
staff.
a federal competitive grant, and we had to have architect help with all the paperwork, and Laura Priest was in on that too, to even get that grant. Then had to do with preserving rural historic structures or something.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mark. I think the scaffolding.
Scaffolding was 100-some thousand, wasn't it? That time?
Yeah, it was 115 or 125, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's something like that available at the federal level again. The state one you can apply for every so many years, and we haven't had it now for at least 5 years, but that's, like I said, that's only 50,000, so it doesn't get you very far.
No.
Okay. Well, it's 9:50. Next on the agenda is a few miscellaneous items, first of which is discuss act on the funding for the city of Decorah sport complex. After doing a lot of pondering this weekend, my viewpoint is that this whole thing was done from the start. Steve Zittergoon commented on that. And I compliment him for recognizing that fact. But it doesn't change the point that we don't have the funding. And sure, you can say, take it out of next year's budget or pledge it for 3 years. We don't know what that budget is gonna be for the next 3 years. It'd be fiscal irresponsibility on this board's part if we pledge money that we do not have. And that is my viewpoint.
Done.
Sorry, but that's what I'm at.
Where I'm at is, for fiscal responsibility's sake, we should give county support in some way, shape, or form in a pledge pending grant approval. I go back to the chart that was presented last week, that we've got both county and rural support for this privately and business support for it. Of the emails I received, I tallied the emails I received, and it is 2 to 1 in support of supporting this. And I heard from 9 rural and 9 cities, so that's equal comparison to that. They line up. 38, nearly 40% of the users of the Park and Rec program in Decorah are rural residents. There's about $42.9 million that comes in from tourist visitor recreational spending to this county every year. So long-term, this complex will pay in collected fees for itself. Here's those charts if you want to see them. The other county projects we supported in the past, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure if we looked further into the records, there'd be more. The Southwind Rec program was $15,000 pledged, of which they used 5. Winneshiek County Fairgrounds received $9,700 for internet. Ridgeway Fire Truck, $30,000. Sumner Fire Station, $30,000. South Central Winneshiek Fire and Rescue, $15,000. Decorah Ladder Truck, $145,000. Sunflower Daycare, $500,000. There's precedent for the county supporting, and we do get funds turned back each year from our overage on budgets. So we could pledge X number of dollars for the year, per year, the next 3 years, pending getting that grant. So we don't spend the money unless we get the grant. And if we get the grant, then other communities like Ocean who want to put in pickleball courts would have some funds from that grant distributed to them, the money we spend on the pledge to the grant, to help them with their Park and Rec programs. They can set that aside and use that amount of money they set aside as a match for a further grant for their projects in their own towns. And I want to stress here too that I'm getting kind of sick of the whole rural versus city thing because it doesn't make sense. Decorah is Winneshiek County. Spillville is Winneshiek County. Ocean is Winneshiek County. We are all together Winneshiek County. So I'd like us to think in those terms. We are Northeast Iowa, Winneshiek County, first and foremost together. And that complex will serve county residents as well as cities residents. And one more point I'd like to make is that what some people have said to me as well, county residents won't get to use it for the same amount. They'll be denied access. We've never denied county residents access to Decorah Park and Rec facilities. In fact, like I said, 38% of users of Park and Rec programs, the fees paid to use the Park and Rec are county residents at the same rate that city residents pay. City residents are the only ones that support is it $2.7 million budget for Park and Rec? Is that, what's the Park and Rec budget for a year? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
That's a little heavy on the operation side, but that includes capital projects.
Thank you. So the city residents are paying a higher tax per year to support bitty basketball, little league, tennis, swimming lessons at the pool in itself. All city residents pay for that. County residents do not pay a higher tax for that. City residents do. But all people of Winneshiek County use these services. So I think that we need to stop thinking in those terms and think of ourselves as a community. We are all living in Winneshiek County. And I think we can move forward in a healthy way as a county the more we think that way, because that's the fact.
It doesn't change the fact that we don't have the funds.
We could do the funds if we pledged it. Yes, we do.
What department are you gonna quit?
We get some
Next.
back
Which
every
one are you
year.
gonna shortchange next?
We get
We
funds.
cut public health in half, taking a position away from conservation, 50,000 less from the sheriff's department, and we don't know where we're gonna next year. How can you be fiscally responsible and pledge money that we do not have?
I think we can find that money.
you think. It's the key
How
word.
much is turned back each year, Ben?
It varies. It's usually 100 or 200,000. But
Okay.
there's always other budget amendments of unforeseen things that use up some of that too.
Yeah.
But there also are unforeseen things that can arise in a hurry.
And going back to them funds that we gave, 2 or 3 of them came out of the ARP funds, so if we went to have the ARP money, they wouldn't have got nothing.
Yes. we
And you
reported
can't put
that they
fire
had
trucks,
ARPA.
you can't put fire trucks in the same category as
That's right.
sports and stuff, because fire trucks are safety for the whole community. You gotta leave them out of the scenario. Don't go putting fire and safety in the same category as needs or wants. Wants are fire department, need, or that's a need. A want is sports complexes and stuff like that. So don't go put them two in the same category. I'm not going there.
I don't,
Because I ran on safety and public safety, infrastructure, and economic development. Them are the 3 main things we got. Yeah.
I'm glad you made that point because economic development is so important for this county.
Yep.
We depend so heavily on tourism. Tourism runs this county with.
Ag is the #1
Ag is the
income in
number
this
one.
county. Ag is
Tourism-
#1.
Tourism does not drive the budget of
No.
this county.
Ag is #1.
Tourism.
That's where we need infrastructure.
You done?
Public safety, them are my 2 top priorities right there.
Are you
And I
good?
push them as much as I can. In economic development. Yeah. And I've worked to keep 2 businesses in town in Winneshiek County.
I don't.
And I
know
kept them
either,
here
so
too.
Waiting to see if you're done.
So. No,
None of my, of course, I represent the population in the 5 southwest townships of this county. And when I look back at my emails and the phone calls that I've received, I do not have support for this. I can't recall a positive comment that's come back to me from any of my constituents. 4 of my cities have their own facilities. They paid for their own facilities. The issue of trying to spend money we don't have, and Ben, we're always working to maintain a certain carryover so that we can bridge the gap between the start of the fiscal year and when property taxes, a 3-month time where we have to pay our bills and we have to maintain a reserve to be able to pay them all. Otherwise, we are defaulting on our responsibilities there. I am not one to take this opportunity of fiscal responsibility. I don't see a place. I see that we have other needs that we have not addressed. We have HR issues that we need to spend money on. We need someone to be able to meet those HR needs of our own county employees. And we've talked about that over and over, that we need money to pay the salary of an HR director to be able to handle that need. And we've talked about other things that we would like to do, but we haven't yet put the funding on that. So not to be involved with this in the planning process, not to be involved with this when other options seem to be available or previous options that were given to the city by Luther College or pursuing that through their Board of Regents is another option. But doing this when we fixed our budget over 8 months ago. So I can't support it.
Would $5,000 from the county allow you guys to apply for that CAT grant? Would that show county support officially on the application? Yes?
But truthfully, do you think $5,000 is going to do anything?
It lets them apply.
I'd go back to what I said earlier. I mean, I think what's led up to this, we can't change. It would have been nice to have been involved in planning of it. But this is beyond really what this next grant that they're trying to get is part of what would take it to another level of not just being local, but tourism. You'll have tournaments, bring people in, spend more money. It's like a trail that has paid itself off over and over again with the increase of people coming and spending money and giving out, jobs for people, let alone the tax dollars to help defray costs. So I think it would be irresponsible of us not to commit at some level, even at $5,000, just so we were in on that. Certainly, we will have $5,000 turned in at the end of this year. We have to be in at some level. There will be times, and I hope that other communities and other organizations in this county want to apply for, try to put together an $8 million project that we could help support to generate more sources of revenue
It wouldn't need to be.
and develop economic development.
What?
It wouldn't need to be. long.
Well, no, it wouldn't, but that's what this one is. This is a massive thing. This is if they did the whole thing.
Add injury to the insult, you don't have the money and the funding for a project, then you accept a bid and put 2 add-ons on it? Well, where does that
Well-
mindset?
We're only pledging this money if they get this grant.
I'd like to
That's
address
really
mindset, and mindset is give 5,000 for the potential to bring $500,000 into the county. They'd be so short-sighted not to do that. It just helps them apply for the grant. If they don't get the grant, we're not out $5,000. So I would like to make a motion to support them applying for the grant at the $5,000 level. They asked for 500,000. Rotary's giving a lot, and they're getting a match for their contribution, and that's a small group of people. 5,000 from the county to apply for the $500,000 grant, which supports a sports complex that'll bring in untold numbers of new money to the county that's used by the whole county. It benefits all of Winneshiek County. So I think it'd be short-sighted not to, so I'm making a motion to do $5,000 so they can apply for the CAT grant.
I do believe it's not a lot of money. $5,000 is a manageable thing, but at least it opens the opportunity.
Then why didn't they come in and ask for 5,000 right away instead of 500,000?
Well, because they're-
Because that's the mindset out in the community is $500,000.
Yeah, but we're not talking about
But
that.
we're-
today.
Yeah, well, that's the mindset out there, so you can't change that now. They should have did this here a long time ago.
What's that have to do with this motion right now?
Well, I'm just saying,
$5,000
that's still the talk out, and it's 500,000. That's where that's what everybody's thinking. So they should have came to us, this thing here should have been started 3, 4, 5 years ago, planning to do this. They could have came to us and did something. You can't come 2 weeks before you need it and say we need money. I don't care if it's $1 or if it's 100,000. It's still the principle, the whole deal.
So I'd like to look at this in more of a positive way together. We're trying to compromise. We're not doing 500,000. We've said that from the get-go that wasn't where we're gonna end up. But in a positive way, let's talk about this and say, we're reaching a really good compromise here that benefits the whole county. And from the county to give $5,000 to a potential $500,000 grant coming in, I'm not sure why we wouldn't do that. It just makes good common sense.
It does. It helps potentially unlock something. And if they don't get the grant, we don't have to spend the money.
Right.
But like I said, I wish every other community in our county would come asking for the same thing because they want to have a project of that magnitude.
Oh, if we do, they will. You can bet on that.
Yeah,
They've
they'll be
already
coming
told
in,
me.
they'll be wanting money.
Every city council has told me the same thing in my district.
You know,
They've got
Belleville's getting-
$500,000, $500,000 grant they want to get. I think we should be contributing towards it.
how
Because it
much
makes our
the
county better. It
sum-
doesn't just make that specific thing, the whole county benefits
Right.
from it. And we got to think more.
I'm in
one
favor of
county,
Spillville
yeah.
getting 22 feet of your center road into the city. I absolutely support that. That's paid for by county funds in a city's budget.
No, not the 22 feet in the center. That is a county.
What is the
road.
county doing into Spillville city limits?
Is going to possibly offer the loan for the total repayment of that back by the city of Spillville. We've done
Haven't
that
seen
with
that
many.
yet.
No, we haven't even gotten to the point of bidding it yet, Shirley, so there's no numbers.
County,
The same thing occurred in
let me finish.
Fort Atkinson
Let me
over that
finish, Steve.
section.
The county has supported cities in this county all the time, and I believe in that. We all live in this county.
You're right, Shirley. We have supported them in roads. We have supported them in fire because of, if we didn't have volunteer fire departments, the costs, and Mike Clemish brought this up in the
Yeah.
meeting with EMS this last week, we would be in serious problem if the state made regulation changes that threatened all of our rural fire departments, and it left us with nothing but forming one that we pay for as a county. And that will cost us more than our budget could ever handle without some cuts that we don't even want to think about.
So we supported the Park and Rec program in Calmer, and I would vote for that again to
We
this
did.
day.
We did, the past boards did, we did.
The county.
Because they saw the benefit to the county of helping other pieces of the county. But this is a common sense issue to me. $5,000 to help gain $500,000 really is a no-brainer.
Well, how can you pledge money and then say, well, if you don't get the grant, well, we're not gonna pay you?
Because that's
A
what this is
pledge
all
is a
about.
Pledge.
That's what this is about. It's a pledge to help them get the match dollars to be able to apply for the CAT grant.
I understand all that, Shirley.
I think it's a positive thing that we can do as a county
2 weeks
together.
ago, when we said $5,000, Stephanie said that wouldn't be enough.
She did not say that.
Yes. You did say that, did you
I
not?
said $1,000 in a $3 million project, probably.
Okay. I apologize.
I mean, the grant thing is taxpayer dollars too, so I mean, it ain't free money falling
Well,
out of the sky, so.
there's a lot of-
Federal tax dollar money is whatever it is.
Agriculture is subsidized by the
Yeah.
government taxes
A
too,
lot.
so, I mean. There's
We're
so
still
much
paying
that we
for it no
do.
matter what.
Our roads are subsidized, everything is subsidized for the most part by the government. taxes,
Subject
so.
here.
There's a motion on the table.
I would second Shirley's motion that we pledge $5,000 towards this project.
Contingent on receiving the CAT grant awarded.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I have it as a resolution if you
Oh,
want to do a roll call, Casey.
A resolution with the $5,000 amount contingent on receiving the
Yeah.
grant. Thank you.
There's a blank number.
I penciled it in there, I wrote it in there.
Thank you.
okay.
I,
Shirley,
Aye.
Mark,
No,
Steve,
No.
and I am a no.
Sorry, Winneshiek
Yes.
County.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming.
Next up, letter of intent for solar project at the Community Services Building.
Letter.
Hello. Morning.
welcome back.
Any questions I can answer for you guys? You brought up last week.
What
It's
the
a great
notice of
project.
intent here states, it says Daniel Winneshiek, Chair, Winneshiek County Board of Supervisors, the undersigned. As owner of the owner's representative confirmed that it is my intention to enter a contract or power purchase agreement for this project known as Community Services Building Solar, located at 607 Washington Street, Decorah, Iowa. Washington County Community Services Building, Perry Novak Electric Incorporated, agrees to provide the materials and services to make the project fully operational. In the event a written contract or purchase order cannot be issued for whatever reason, I am aware that I will be responsible as the end user for any and all costs incurred as part of the pre-mobilization activities that result as an expense to Perry Novak Electric Incorporated for the referenced project. These expenses may include but are not limited to utility application fees, legal expenses, which will be invoiced accordingly to the project owner.
Question for Ben. Because this is a long-term lease, Ben, does this require a public hearing before any approval can be issued?
Before we do the lease, before we do the power agreement, yes, but we can do the letter of intent now to get the process started, and then we'll go through that process. We're basically saying that for some reason you don't approve that or whatever, this letter is saying we're still gonna pay Perry Novak for the work.
Yeah. If all of a sudden you guys said no, you know, you got the review and you said no, there'd be $200 in legal fees and the lawyer drafting the contract. Grant writer fee, you know, it's not $10,000, but it could be a couple thousand or something. I've never had anybody not do it, not go with that project at that point, but we did have that a few years ago, in case somebody would have.
What if we get to the point and the engineer says, or the architects say that we can't support the load? I mean, that's,
We're gonna figure that out further soon. That's what this, basically this letter tells me you guys are serious enough, and I'm gonna invest some time into working with Martin. And then, yep, we'll get the grant writer started. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of pieces that move here in the next few weeks, really. Moving in quickly to get in. I've never had a city or county attorney. I mean, once in a while they want something changed, some wording, but it's not like they've ever come back and said, we're not gonna do this. It's really cut and dry.
the other thing would be, we talked about the insurance. And
I forwarded that to the insurance, but I haven't heard back, but
so
she
you,
thinks that our agents thought it was unlikely that it would affect, but that she can't give those answers, so she had to send it into the. So
And
an official answer, we're waiting to hear from ICAP, but
the actual equipment is either insured one of two ways, and it's in the PPA that way that you guys can insure it, because sometimes what I've found is it's cheaper for the end user to insure the equipment because it's on your building than it is for the investor to go out and get a separate policy. And so we typically will price it both ways. This last couple of years with insurance rates going up, we've had a couple of locations where the city or the county, it's cheaper for them to do it. And then what you do is have the insurance company give that as a broke out price, and they reimburse you for that. The investor then turns around and reimburses you. If you guys carry the.
either way, it's not.
If you carry the equipment insurance, it still has liability and other insurance. But if you carry the actual physical damage equipment insurance, then he just reimburses you. If you don't, then he carries it and it's proof of it. So there, back to the whisper, there's really no cost. The county cost can be that you insure it and you're reimbursed. And so in a sense, there's no cost. I've never had an end user, like the county or city, come back and say their insurance company raised the rates because of someone on the building. That isn't part of, like I said, that stuff's usually pulled out as a separate piece. It's pretty cut and dry.
Ben, do you recall if we had, after we installed the solar at recycling, if we saw an increase on it?
didn't change our rates other than the fact that we were insuring additional equipment.
In this case,
You don't own it. Yeah.
as long as we don't own the equipment, we don't. It's no interest.
So if there's hail damage, it's not.
It's not your cost.
Yeah,
It's not your responsibility. It's
Or like they did in the west part of the state.
It actually would probably, help protect our roof.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had customers that, you put it on.
We should get an insurance discount.
A sure
because-
discount. For deferred liability.
I think the project is,
Your solar panels took a beating, but our roof looks good.
They're actually designed, so they're designed to take golf ball size hail perpendicular to the panel at 80 miles an hour. And so I think in the 13 plus years I've been doing this, I've had 2 systems that got damaged, and they had baseball size hail come through. And it took out one panel on 2 different sites. So it's not like it, everybody remembers Fort Atkinson a few years ago, everything looked like Swiss cheese. I went over that right away that morning because we had a system on the roof. That entire house was destroyed, windows were broke, nothing wrong with the panels. And so they're designed to take the load. And if you ever get a chance to walk up to a panel on the ground and you push on it, they flex as well.
so the warranty on these panels covers hail damage.
No physical damage. So if you have a tree branch from your neighbor that falls on it, that's not part of the warranty that you're really get insurance claim. 9 times out of 10, physical damage due to trees is not from the owner of the property. It tends to be the neighbor's trees or something that come over, but
Differences around any trees.
yeah.
This,
We have baseball size hail, the roof of our courthouse is in big trouble.
I mean, it's not the town's insurance claim.
I just think it's a very positive investment to make. immediately, but also long term. That's supposedly potentially 30 years of value, and we could potentially buy it out in 7 years. And maybe even part of it donated. Wow, what a great asset. We've seen the results of the recycling, the difference, over $1,500 a month in savings. So
How much?
it was over 1,500. It was 60 some dollars last month, and we were at 1,600.
Right in that neighborhood, yes.
How big a unit is that one compared to this one?
Didn't put it in, I don't know, I've seen it. You know, how big it was, I don't remember.
These panels, this array is sized to take care of the usage of
Of
that
that
building.
building, I know, yeah.
Somebody asked, oh, it's only gonna be, and somebody said, oh, it's only gonna be
Yeah, it was real close.
$1,000 savings a month. I said, no,
That's
that's,
close to 100. I know there's a couple panels that'll have to come off that design, but it's real close to 100%.
So it's not, but as far as expansion, if food pantry expands their equipment load, we're not covered. We won't have access for that, but
You guys want the building next to it.
no,
No.
Because we got one down Upper Explorer Land Building, and that one must not be as
And if anything happens, you know, or I put solar in for somebody and something changes, or I've had customers that retire and all of a sudden their usage goes up 20% because they're home every day. Sometimes it just depends on the scenario. Sometimes you can add more. Sometimes you're content with you're now doing 80% instead of 100%. So every situation's different down the road. If
either way, it's potential.
Yeah.
Significant savings.
because we still had a $400 a month electric bill at Upper Explorer Land there. The month of July, I think it was. That was cloudy too, so we probably ain't producing. How's that?
you'd be surprised how much it'll do.
That was the takeoff that.
that's really about the only building we have in the county that we own
That has,
that has any ability to benefit from solar panels. I don't think our shops or anything of that nature necessarily.
It's something we can look at in later date. I've always thought that the county shop buildings, you could put them on the roof. If you wanted to down the road.
Freeport, there's really not that many trees, 3 trees, I guess, but
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
if that's something you want me to look at in a different scenario, I can, just to give you guys an idea of what the ability to save is in each building. I'm fine with that too.
I think especially when we're gonna build.
Can you put a-
shop?
like, put a field up out there that would generate X for just, it only goes for the one.
So my, or,
One resident or
our
one
utility is about the same. You gotta connect to that meter.
that meter, okay.
And so, and
You
line,
can't put a big field up and
no,
pull off.
it's called virtual net metering. I wish we could. But yeah. No, you gotta be connected directly to the usage.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if Ben wants to, if you authorize Ben to send me the bills, I can look at any sites you want. All I need is one electric bill, and then I submit and get a report from the Alliance.
That'd be great.
It'll cost you guys for us to do that.
I think one of our county shops should have them.
Yeah, I mean, put them on the roof, and then they still wouldn't be in the way of the trucks going in and out. Maybe it does part of the usage, maybe it does 100%. Until I look at the usage, I can't tell you.
I think, especially if we're building a shop in Locust, we look at incorporating that into the.
Yes, if you do that, and you're thinking about the solar, look at the type of roof you put on and look at the pitch of the roof. 412 is kind of a standard pitch, but I've had customers that are building new buildings. And if you can do a 512 or a 612, it makes a big difference on the production. Because basically 412 is about 18 degrees, 612 gets you closer to that 30-degree mark, and that's kind of where you want.
I think actually you'd have to use pedestals because all the doors are on the south side.
But if there's room to put the pedestal array on it, certainly.
There's some there.
And then you can have it steeper without changing it.
And I've had some county or city sites where we do it, and then they just park some equipment, you know, we put it on the edge, this is the property, put it a row on the edge, and then they can back equipment up to it and stuff, and it's not really in the way. So every site's a little different.
I think we should look at the joint ownership with the city and the jail and law enforcement center.
I've looked at that one a couple times, and Dan's got me.
You take a $300,000 project at 8% interest, $24,000 a year interest, we're getting 11,000 back, that's a net loss of 13,000, so I don't know where that. If you were gonna do it, I mean,
Well,
but I imagine
For private
he's making
investment.
money.
but you find an investor that wants to do it. why not?
Yeah, somebody-
If you want an investor, but we, physically, you can't,
No,
the
but
county can't put them up.
if they may have an investor that's looking for a project. and
That's how this one works.
Yes.
That's how this one.
Because they get the grant.
And I was upfront, I mean, we've looked, Dan's had me look at the jail a couple times, and I think the nervousness there is that flat roof, and they've had problems with it. And it was-
Mhm.
We both kind of agreed that for now, we just leave it alone, as much as I'd love to help them with what that electric bill is, just,
How about freestanding array?
there's nowhere to put it,
No place to put it.
there's nowhere to put it there.
How
How
many
much
buildings?
land are they getting from the Army Reserve potentially? Is
I
that?
don't know.
That's
Close
the,
enough.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, this,
We're just dealing with it.
How many,
today.
how many buildings did you actually put solar on in Calmer? You did multiple, I think you did multiple locations
there's
there.
8 total, fire station, the library, the city hall. Sewer plant, yeah, I think there's 8, if I remember right,
You did the pool.
yeah, pool. And those are all running in this one.
Yeah.
And that investor did get the grant. So. Use the same grant right here.
Was it like 35% grant, or what is it?
Back then it was 50,
Oh, 50,
and then they cut it back down to 25.
20.
2 years where it was just, it was almost too good to be true. But it's been 25 for 20 years and it's back down.
I guess I'd like to make a motion, we sign the letter of intent to go ahead with this project because it's a really great investment for the county.
I would second that. I like long-term planning for the county. Good common sense. I support it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve this notice of intent for the solar project at the Community Services Building. Is there any further discussion? None. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
We'll be
Passes unanimous.
Ben, do you want to email me that so you have the original?
Does anyone have a blue pen?
Yeah.
Everything's blue on here, so. There we go.
No.
Yeah, if you guys want to give Ben permission, you can send me any bills you want me to look at sites on. So,
Okay, great.
appreciate it.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks.
all right, you want to sign that, John? You want to sign this for?
Please.
You should take it with me, but I know you'll want it as a company size.
Next up, discuss possibly act on HR audit.
I brought that up previously about what was discussed at the ISAC meetings in Des Moines at this last series of meetings when we went through all of the time with the various attorneys and so forth. This is really, in my mind, an issue of acting or possibly alleviating any issues we may have of exposure because we're not keeping proper records, and a way so that we can see where our weak points are, just like we did with the audit we did of the IT system. I think the whole thing about this is just bringing in an outside professional to look at what we're doing, and the thing yes, the things no, because all it would take would be one legal action because of our own bad poor actions in some cases, maybe good actions in others, we don't know. Because we have too many different.
Or lack of action.
Yeah, or not doing certain things we need to be doing, and I think it's just a prudent thing to limit any exposure that we may have so that we can take action on it, so we don't end up with a legal issue that we're totally blindsided on.
I think the other one was doing, first of all, doing employee reviews and now also having consistency with them so that everyone's on the same page.
And we don't have a
We don't have
standard,
a
we don't have a
template
standard
for
form,
that.
we don't have a template. When one of our departments asked me about it, I went online and just found this one, which I gave to that department head to use and instructed him where to go to get some instruction on how to use it and how to go about the procedure. Because we don't have any of that, and we're actually, in my mind, we could be setting up our own department heads for failure.
The hard part is we need to work with, not the hard part, but the first step would be bringing the department heads together and communicating this and having a discussion and hoping that we have buy-in for it.
I think we
Because
will.
it's not something we can say they have to do.
But we can't with the elected officials, that's correct.
Right.
But our other department heads
Yes,
need to follow that. They don't have to, our other elected officials do not have to take and follow the recommendations.
right.
But we have the majority of employees that fall under our umbrella rather than the elected officials. I don't think, secondary roads
So it's
has
alone.
union contract issue, but still we have HR responsibility there too. And I think this makes it a lot easier. If we have something that we can get in place, we've got better policy, we've got better access to proper documents that they can use, we're far better. I think we're just,
And it's having an HR professional do that work rather than, I mean, that's not our forte.
I know you had inquired with. Healers and-
Just a second.
So we have an existing contract with
Right,
Lynch Dallas.
Yep.
We took bids and hired them a few years ago to do special projects. They did help us rewrite our employee handbook since then. So we have an estimate from the attorney there at about 40 hours of work to do the audit, and our contract with them is $250 an hour, so that's $10,000. We have budgeted $15,000 for outside HR already in our budget, because of that contract. So that'll spend up most of what's left in that.
of this year.
Yeah, but
we have a lawsuit that's 200,000. Would they say an average lawsuit was if it's HR
I
related?
recall it was very high.
It was, I think it was in a range of $200,000 is a typical average. And a small expenditure within our budget that we've already set is probably a whole lot better than trying to figure out what to do with 200,000 that came upon us suddenly.
Do we want to act on that today?
It says we
I
can-
would move that we go ahead and authorize our HR consultant to proceed with an audit of our systems within the HR process.
I would second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second for the approval of an HR audit. Is there any further discussion?
I think an HR audit, like we do, we have statutory requirements for Nelson to come in and do an audit of our finances. I think this is probably ranks up there pretty high in close proximity to what needs to be done there.
Are we following the CE rules?
We've been lucky up to this point.
Our
And I would
security
support that
audit really
completely.
We may be good.
And I think this follows right in line with that.
Yeah, we may be good, we may not be good. Let's go find out.
I
See how bad we are.
call for a vote.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Steve, do you want to contact Holly or should I?
Why don't you go ahead and you've had that last conversation with her?
Yeah.
Just put me on the loop so I can stay with you on it.
Yep.
Does anyone have anything else?
I have one more question. If I would have moved to spend $10 just so they could apply for the CAT grant, would your vote still be no?
That's hypothetical.
I know, I'm just wondering.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Just the way the whole thing was handled is it soured my mouth.
It is the past, though. We gotta look moving ahead. Well, everyone makes mistakes.
I get that.
We were short-sighted.
I've
on the
voted
vote.
one way in the past and wished I voted the other way. This may be one of them,
It may be.
but. And I do have constituents, I'm not gonna lie, that call me in favor, but 3-1, 4-1 opposed.
I didn't
You
get
know,
any
and
calls. I
I-
don't know who's calling you guys. I wish I would have gotten phone calls.
And some of
I
the
suppose I
calls
could
I
say I
had
did, but-
that I know, I always ask where they're from, so I know what district they are. Some are from Freeport, one of your districts,
That's
and
fine.
then we're opposed to it. I
Some of the ones that
apologize to the
emailed me-
ones, my constituents that are for it. But when you don't have the funding, you don't have the funding. And it's just what it keeps coming down back to me.
$1,000 that we were gonna be able to give them?
1,000 wasn't enough.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
No.
She
But-
said it was.
Well, she said.
That's what she had said.
$1,000 was.
Previously wasn't enough, but I was also,
She just said today 1,000 would do it. So we could have, instead of 5,000, I could have said 1,000. At least they can apply for the grant, for goodness sake. This was pretty short-sighted today,
Well-
you guys.
I gave it out. I said, we could maybe come up with some money if they were willing to donate more to Winneshiek County Board of. not
Tourism.
Development tourism next year.
That wouldn't be
That's two
considered a
separate
grant
issues.
or a donation. It is, but it is.
We would have pledged the money
Yep.
and in turn, they would have donated. This
Toward-
gentleman's agreement, they would have donated more toward that.
That's been
so-
quite petty.
Well,
We were short-sighted today and it's unfortunate.
Okay, well,
Thanks for the discussion.
Move adjourned.
second.
a motion is second for adjournment. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is now adjourned.
I don't have to get on that. Count me in.
If it gets to that point where we start disagreeing on that one.
Count me in on that.
We got, is it this, we have a recycle meeting this week, don't we, Mark? Committee meeting? Mark, we have a committee meeting.
I think there was, but I
I don't
looked,
have
and I
my, I don't
don't
have my phone.
have it on my phone, but I think it was
I
gonna
think it
be.
was like the 17th.
I don't have it listed here, but it seemed like we all talked
I
about
think
this
we
week's
talked
meeting.
17th.
Hopefully it started today. City will take a little different attitude towards the county. As Shirley said.
There's only 2 supervisors in the room now, Fatima. Thank you.